Right, welcome back to Gaming, Gainz, and Geekery, episode number 2. I am Jason Ward. If you missed the first episode, basically I just discuss a few different topics in the Gaming, Gainz, and Geekery vein. So I usually try to pick one thing from each of those categories and just chat about my thoughts and opinions. And that's it. Simple. Just get to talk about the stuff that I love. Today, I want to talk about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's coming out on March 25th, if I remember correctly. I tried the demo last week, so that's why I wanted to talk about that. In the Gainz category, I want to talk about setting realistic goals and what your expectations should be with your training, because I find a lot of people struggle with that particular concept. And then finally, in the Geekery, I want to talk about Moonknight, as I watched the trailer earlier this week, and I am very excited. So, without any further ado, let's talk about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So, I don't know if you've had a chance to see any of the trailers or try out the demo yourself. If you're a fan of Kirby games, I think you might like this one. If you're a fan of platformers, this is going to be a great game, I think. The demo was a lot of fun. I played for probably almost an hour, just kind of like fiddling around with the controls and starting to try to understand the concept that the game is going to have. I was blown away. It really was reminiscent of something like Super Mario Odyssey, which I thought was a great addition to the Mario 3D platformer style of game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I think, is going to do the same thing for Kirby that Odyssey did for Mario. That's just my opinion, but that's kind of how I feel. Having kind of like been in and out of the Kirby franchise over the years, I'm kind of excited to see him as a character again and get to play around a little bit more, because really the only time I've played with Kirby at all in recent years has been when he's been in Super Smash Bros. And just kind of not really utilizing him as a character in those games unless I absolutely had to. Like the most recent Super Smash Bros. For the Switch, you had to play as Kirby at the start of the story mode. And of course, I had to play the story mode because I had to understand the entire game. And then as soon as I had access to other characters, I started to move away from Kirby immediately, because I don't love his character in those games. But this game, where it's obviously designed to be all about Kirby, seems like a lot of fun. The power-up seems super interesting. There's an opportunity to increase the strength of some of your power-ups as well, which is not something that I've ever seen in a Kirby game before. So that added a nice element to the game that I think will make the overall gameplay a lot more fun, being able to actually like level up the powers and not just being stuck with like, okay, well, once I have, remembering the old NES game, which is the one I probably played the most of the Kirby games, where you get a power, like once I got that UFO power, I didn't want any other power up. That was just the one to go to at any time. And if I lost it, I would literally go back to level 4-1. I would do it again, get the UFO, and then go back and start playing through the next levels again. In some cases, I might use other powers if it seemed like a good idea, but basically the UFO was like the best item you could have in that particular game, so it was the one I always gravitated towards. But with this new Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, I like the kind of not open world, but that there are some levels that have a little bit more openness to it. It's like the first time we've seen Kirby in like a 3D environment, as opposed to like the 2D platformers. This is more like a 3D platformer, and I think it's going to add a nice change of pace to the game. Like I said, like I had a lot of fun playing the demo for, I don't even remember, it was probably, like I said, about an hour or so. I beat what they had in the demo, and then I went back and tried up some of the power-ups that it lets you do in the demo. And when the game comes out, I'm probably going to pick it up and play it all the way through, because it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, maybe I'll start playing it later on and I won't feel that way anymore, but for right now, I'm kind of stoked about this game. I'm excited to see what it is and like where the story goes and how it all plays out. So if you're going to try out Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, let me know in the comments down below. So moving on, let's talk about my probably biggest passion, fitness. So we're getting into the Gainz portion of today's podcast. Today, as I mentioned at the start, I want to talk about setting realistic goals and realistic expectations, because I feel like people often have an unrealistic expectation for what they can accomplish and an unrealistic time frame for how long it will take to accomplish the goal that they have. So it's not necessarily that your goal is not realistic. Often it's more that you are not giving yourself enough time to accomplish that goal. So people want results now, and I totally understand. Like, I would love it if I could get results faster. I would love it if I could give my clients results faster. But at the end of the day, the results that stick tend to come with a longer approach. It tends to be a slow and steady drip until you get to the goal. And if you try to like sprint for an extended period of time, it's not going to play out very well. You want to think about it kind of like a marathon, right? So like, you can't sprint a marathon. Like, you can't just go full bore all the way for 26 miles, 42 kilometers, however you want to say the distance. Like, it's too much. Nobody can handle that. Now, little sprints and slowdowns and sprints and slowdowns is maybe a better strategy, and maybe you'll get there faster by doing it that way than you would if you tried to go at a steady pace all the way through. But again, there needs to be like breaks. You need to give yourself a chance to recover if you're going to take a sprint approach. So when you go hard, you then have to back off and then repeat the going hard, and it's back and forth and back and forth. If you try to go hard for too long, you're just going to burn yourself out, and then you're going to wind up either worse off than you are now, or maybe you'll like a little bit better, but probably not very much. You definitely won't be at your goal, but you'll also be burnt out, and then you'll start making poor decisions that are going to lead you back to a much worse place than you want to be. So in setting your expectations, forget all of the shit you see on social media. Just get it out of your head right now, because all of those massive transformations, everything that they put out there into the different media outlets and from different trainers and coaches and that kind of thing, like, most of that is BS. They are not giving you the truth. I have seen this firsthand from some coaches, and I have seen how some of those before and after photos are done. And I even know some models in the industry who have explained how the process was done for them. So basically, all of that is bunk. It's BS. It's like, stop listening to those stories and stop having those expectations. You are not going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. It's just not going to happen. A more realistic time frame for your goal, if you want to lose 30 pounds, is probably like 6 months. And even that is going to be relatively quick. You should be in the probably 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week range. That's pretty good. I actually use 1% of your body mass per week as like the upper limit that I want to see when we're doing a diet phase. You could maybe push that up to 2%, but again, that's getting much more aggressive. Some of the things that you have to do that aren't sustainable, and you will have to take a break from that at some point. So it's like, yes, we could go a little bit faster, but we'll need to take a break and let you recover before we can do that again. So the question is, how do you want to approach that? Do you want to go hard for a little while and then back off and get like a little recovery period and then go hard again? Or do you want to go at a more steady, sustainable pace that's going to let you accomplish this long term? So you have to make that choice. Both are realistic, but you have to choose which one of those two things is ideal for your situation, right? Now, most of the time I actually find that those like little sprints work really well for people, because there's usually holidays, birthdays, vacations, that sort of thing. So if you sprint up to one of those events, then you take a break for a week or two, and then you repeat the sprint, rest approach, then you have a much better success rate overall. That's generally been my experience. Now, you can do really well with that consistent, slow, steady approach as well. It does yield really good results, but it's much slower. It can be very difficult for people in the long term. They don't want to be at these things for that long. So the question is like, which mentality is going to work better for you? Understand that your goal is going to take you time. So mostly I'm just talking about weight loss here. The same is going to hold true for building muscle, getting stronger. Like there are processes that you can go intensively on, but you have to give your body the appropriate recovery time between those intense efforts. And if you don't, you're just going to lead yourself to injury or burnout. And neither of those are things that you want. So me, I am all about enjoy your fit. That's my tagline. That's how I approach fitness. It's what I want for me. It's what I want for my clients. It's what I want for everybody. Fitness should be fun. Nutrition should be like simple. It should be foods that you enjoy, things that you want to eat. If you are dreading every meal, if you're dreading every workout, why are you doing it? It doesn't make any sense to me that people are struggling with these concepts because like they're doing things they don't want to do. Why would you do things you don't want to do? Yes, there is some level of needing to push yourself outside your comfort zone and do things that make you uncomfortable, but you shouldn't be dreading it. You shouldn't hate every minute of it. When it's over, at the very least, you should be like, man, I feel great. That was awesome. Like maybe you hate it. That's fine. But it makes you feel better. It gets you closer to your goal. You have that drive to continue that behavior. It is like a reward system that all of us kind of have, but yeah, it's not going to be the be all and end all. You should not be hating every minute of fitness and nutrition. So in making your decisions, regardless of what your goal is, make sure that you're choosing to approach it with the right mentality. All right. Am I going to sprint for a brief period of time and then recover for a brief period of time and keep alternating? Or am I going to take a consistent long-term approach where I'm going to try to step ladder my way to success? Choose one of those two options. Because again, you cannot sprint long-term. No matter how much willpower and discipline you have, you will hit a wall at some point. And then generally what happens is people fall off after that. So set your expectations at a reasonable level. If it's weight loss, 1% of your body weight a week is very good, 2% at the most. And then if you're looking to build muscle mass, depending on how long you've been training, you can not really expect to gain much more than 1 to 2 pounds of lean muscle a month. And that's a lot. Most people don't even accomplish that. Like it requires a lot of things to go very well. So if you're going slower, I wouldn't be upset about it. Make sure that you're, again, setting that realistic expectation. Like progress is still progress. Always celebrate progress. If you're trying to gain strength, the same thing. Like that 1% better is the mentality that you need to take into everything that you do, because that 1% improvement compounds a lot over time. At the end of a year, you will be like 37 times better than you were when you started that year, right? That's a big improvement. That's a lot of room to grow and adapt and become the best version of yourself. So be realistic. Make sure your expectations are not going to exceed your ability, and take it slow. Or again, go fast, but take breaks. Either way, look at the longer term. Think about how things are going to be structured and don't just approach it willy-nilly. All right, so that is the Gainz section for today. So next, this is so exciting to me. If you have not seen the Moonknight trailer yet, you need to go watch it. The show is coming out very soon on Disney+. I think it's going to be amazing. The trailer looks so good. Oscar Isaac is playing the Moonknight character, Mark Spector. He is playing the role exceptionally well from the trailer. It looks amazing. Hey, Brock. How you doing, buddy? I am dog sitting for a friend of mine, and he's begging for a little bit of attention right now. So Oscar Isaac playing Mark Spector. It looks amazing. The visuals look really good. If you've been following along with the Marvel Universe for some time, you know that they're doing a great job with a lot of this franchise. It's amazing what they've been able to accomplish with these stories. Moonknight, Mark Spector, is not really a character that I am super familiar with. I know a little bit about him. I know it's more in the supernatural vein of the Marvel Universe. So characters like Blade, Doctor Strange, and Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch. They are all kind of part of the, like, let's hunt the supernatural creatures. And the Rising Suns, I believe, is the name of the group that kind of comes together to do that. And I believe that is the direction that they're kind of going. They're kind of starting to introduce some of these characters, like Black Adam was introduced in the Eternals. And it's exciting to see this new spin that they're taking on the Marvel Universe and like what else is out there outside of just like the Avengers. It just gives us a wider look at what could be going on. And the casting choices they have done so far have been incredible. They really keep picking excellent actors and actresses to take on these roles. I think Oscar Isaac is going to fall into that same ability. He definitely seems to have the right acting chops, I guess we could say, for the role. But yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, it looks really exciting. The character is definitely interesting. I'm very intrigued, and I can't wait to see how the story is going to develop and what's going to happen next. So that's all I have to say on that today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Once again, if you did, please remember to hit subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. All that stuff will help me grow and get more into this. I'd love to keep talking about these things and just sharing more of my wisdom and opinions on these various different subjects. If there's some stuff you would like to see me talk about, please just let me know in the comments. Send me a DM on Instagram at wordswaytofitness or an email wordswaytofitness@gmail.com. Any of those are great ways to get a hold of me. So please reach out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I can do to make this more engaging for you. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.